Alrighty, so we have what should be a fun one here. So we have Dakota Bush versus Rongzhu, or Zhu Rong. So I think the measurements are wrong. I don't think Bush has the size advantage here for sure. I mean, look at this pick with Dustin Poirier with Rongzhu. Rongzhu dwarfs him. These guys are in the same weight class, and Dustin Poirier, he's quite a big 155er. Like, he cuts from like 185. And this looks like Poirier off a weight out of camp. So Rongzhu's a big 155er. The measurements are wrong. Same with his age. Fucking hell, that one, not that one. Same with his age too, probably. I don't think he's 21, but it is what it is. Break down the striking of these two. So for Dakota Bush, he's a bit of a wild card on the feet. Bit messy, a lot of slapping lead leg offense. Likes the counter left hook quite a bit. But I don't think there's too much structure to his stand-up, honestly. For Rongzhu, he's a counterpuncher primarily. Likes the counter 2, the 1-2 straight right, snapping jab. Mostly everything down the pipe, unless he throws a check left hook. But his striking defense isn't great. His head doesn't move very much. His lead hand is low constantly, so something to watch out for there. But he has shown a really good chin in the past. So break down the striking of these two. So for Dakota Bush, he likes the blitz 1-2 into a double leg on the fence or a blast double. Everything's with explosion with Dakota Bush. Rongzhu has shown good takedown defense in the past and very good initial scrambles when defending takedowns. He can be controlled against the fence if the opponent's just going to stall against the fence. He can be, a little bit passive in that position. Fence clinch escapes need a little bit of work. When he gets taken down, his bottom game looks a bit suspicious. I'm not sure what to make of it. Honestly, there's not too much footage. But Dakota Bush, his bottom game isn't great either. His guard gets past pretty easily. How these guys win fights, so for Rongzhu, he's got a good chin. How these guys lose fights, so for Rongzhu, he's low volume. He's quite green. I don't care how many fights he has in his record. He made a lot of rookie mistakes in that Vargas fight. And yeah, he seems a little green to me, honestly. For Dakota Bush, I think his game lacks a bit of structure. Seems like he's just mashing buttons most of the time. Like as you would in, Super Mario or whatever a video game is that does that kind of stuff. Street Fighter, Tekken, I guess. Those fighting games, like those, yeah, whatever. But he does gas after one round as well. Style is very energy inefficient. Everything's with explosion. It is what it is. Pass to victory for these two. So for Rongzhu, pressure him to the fence, feint a bit. Dakota does bite on feints quite a bit, so look to feint. Rongzhu doesn't really feint that much, but it would be smart in this matchup. Pick your shots. Don't just wait for the perfect shot, but pick your shots and pick your entries with Dakota Bush, because in your last fight, I think you're waiting for the perfect shot, and it just leaves you to be very low volume. Mix in takedowns as well if you're Rongzhu, especially late in the fight. Path to victory for Dakota Bush. Leg kicks. Vargas had a lot of success with the leg kicks against Rongzhu. Try and take him down, press him against the cage if you're tired, and just look for control. Look to control him against the fence. As I said before, he's been controlled there in the past. How I see the fight playing out. So, if anyone's got a plug for the WLF Wars organization in China, that would be great, because I could never find fights from there. Like, if anyone's got a website that shows all of them, that would be awesome. But I can never find fights from that organization. But on the feet, it seems like Rongzhu is the much more technical striker. Bush is going to leave a lot of openings for Rongzhu on the feet. It just depends if he wants to take advantage of them or not. He didn't do too much in the Vargas fight for the first 2 rounds. Woke up a bit in the 3rd round, but it was just too late. He seems pretty green to me. It doesn't seem like he knows what to do in certain areas of a fight. Seems to have a bit of a lack of awareness of his positioning in a fight. He was taunting and shit in the 3rd round when Vargas obviously stole the first 2 rounds just by simply out-hustling him. He wasn't necessarily the better fighter, just out-hustled him. Bush is certainly the more active party overall, so we could see something similar to like Timur Valiev versus Hayoni Barcelos, like where Bush is just circling around, just throwing out nothing kicks, and Rongzhu wasn't really doing too much. He's looking for that perfect shot and just gets simply outworked at the end of the day, and the judges have to find a winner and they'll give it to the guys actually throwing stuff. So yeah, that's potential what could happen. Rongzhu is training at ATT now, which I do like. great bodies there, great facilities, but most importantly, great coaches, and I think that's what he needs right now. Just a coach that's going to set a game plan out for him, really drill it into him, and set out a game plan, work with him on that. And I think he has quite a high ceiling. His striking looks good. And anti-grappling looks pretty good. His athleticism does help him out a lot with his anti-grappling, but, he seems to be quite well-rounded. But there isn't too much footage on his takedown defense and his bottom game at the end of the day, so I can't really make too much of an assessment on it. But it looks good. I think Bush will put up a decent fight, but he just isn't UFC level at this stage of his career anyways. His game just has no structure. He just kind of goes crazy until he gasses out. Like, that's basically it. I think it's Rongzhu's fight for the taking. The question is just whether he will take it or not. That's the question, really. So prediction is Rongzhu, or Zhu Rong, by TKO. I think he finishes him. But yeah, I think that happens a fair amount of the time, but also I'm not very confident in the matchup because both are very green. I wouldn't bet either price here. Like, I don't think Dakota Bush is very good. His path to victory is certainly just being active, but I feel like he's going to leave a lot of openings and Rongzhu's going to catch him with the bigger shots and the more eye-catching shots, and I feel like ATT have probably slammed in that how bad that performance was to Rongzhu, and he's probably going to come in with a bit more urgency, hopefully. So I do think Rongzhu does win, but there's no way I'd bet either price here because they're just too green, and I just don't trust either of them, to be honest.